Now, I'm not one to gossip, but I will bring you the tea. Welcome to Chronicle Speaks.
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Eh? Yes. Look at you.
Shirley Strawberry probably in a million years did not think that she would be involved in an entanglement, especially one that is so public, but here we are. Shirley's name has been buzzing in the internet streets ever since this summer when a court hearing was released stating that her husband, Ernesto, couldn't be around Shirley's daughter, Shirley's 2 grandchildren by her daughter. He couldn't be around animals. He had a mistress in Florida, and he planned to stay in his wife's boss's house in Abu Dhabi. Hearing all of that made all of our ears perk up like, Well, the saga continues. Jail calls have been released that have us waiting on the next episode like the days of our lives. Shirley says that the divorce is now pending. The world is all saying, what? And wow. All because of you, Ernesto. I told y'all we were going to break this story down, and I'm keeping my promise. We are going to get into this case, find out how Ernesto has taken down Shirley's entire empire, and so much more. But before we do, please be sure to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss out on any news regarding this case and so much more. Now let's get back into it. First things first, let's start by clearing the air on some things. There have been people that have been thinking that a correctional officer has been releasing these calls to a blogger or to bloggers, and that's totally wrong. There's a thing called the Freedom of Information Act, which gives the public the right to request access to records from any federal agency. You can literally go online and request this information yourself. It's not illegal. No one went behind anyone's back to do it. Again, shout out to phone calls from prison, because before she and her husband were getting these calls, I didn't even know that this was an option. So let's get into this information that I promised you. So last year, Earnest was arrested on July 7th, according to booking information, and his initial charge was theft by deception. A few weeks after those initial charges, more charges came, conspiracy to commit a felony, and so on. But Earnest wasn't alone. He had a co-defendant. That person was Miss Ericka King Hughley Rothschild. And before linking with Earnest, Sis seemed to have a promising career. She was once a PR person for the hit TV show Wildin' Out with Nick Cannon. She was amongst the who's who in Atlanta. She had her own clothing store, car service, and she wore some of the nicest fashions, the name brand. Ericka is actually highly educated from Auburn University, and she once called herself a pastor. Take a listen to this.
So I graduated from Auburn. Auburn is a huge school. Cam Newton played football there, Bo Jackson, Charles Barkley. So it's a legendary SEC school for athleticism. So athletics was always available to me to do sports management and sports publicity. So right now we are preparing for the NFL Combine. So I have several players that are training for the Combine. The Combine is where you get invited to come out and try out for different NFL teams in preparation for the draft.
I stand declaring war on everything that binds your children up. Father God, I loose the spirit of wisdom. I loose the spirit of peace. I loose the spirit of discernment. I loose the spirit of needs being met, Father God.
Papa! Who this woman?
Baby, if this was any indication as to what life with Ernest would be, Shirley, you better run now if you haven't already. I'll be damned if that man turned me from Princess Tiana into Princess Fiona. According to police, these two were a couple who were involved in an elaborate scheme to con people out of their money, promising them to fix their credit, increase their social media presence, and helping them reach business goals. Now, these two got on police radar after writing a bunch of bad checks for the home that they shared together. Yes, the home that they shared together. And if you missed any of that, click on the link above. Now, as much as Sis claims to be smart, she's a college graduate and a prayer warrior, she is far from a saint. Let's get into a brief call from phone calls from prison where Shirley asked Earnest about Ericka, and then I will break it all down.
And they gave my co-defendant, I've looked that up too, she got a bond and everything for all of it yesterday.
Who's your co-defendant?
My co-defendant is Ericka, Blue, whatever you want to call it. I can't pronounce the last name, but that's what they say.
The woman that's in the picture with you?
Yeah, but I didn't know that.
She got a bond? She's out of jail?
No, not yet. She ain't bonding out yet, but she do have a bond now. She got a bond, so she must have went yesterday. But she got a bond on all her charges. She had like 30 charges. I didn't have like that. But
So do you know this woman?
Yeah, I do know her. Yeah, I do know her. But we didn't do nothing. But the only thing she did help me with, she said she was a lawyer at that time. So come to find out, oh, this ain't going where it need to be going. So that's why they got me linked up with her.
All this isn't what?
That's why they got me linked up with her.
Because why?
I just told you why.
I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Okay. I'm sorry. You know, I can't talk about so much on the phone.
Okay, well, that's okay. Never mind.
Yeah. But that's what they linked up for. So, but my charges is not none of that stuff. The only charge I got is when I went the other day. So they're trying to say I got rental property. I don't have no fucking rental properties. I don't have none of that. Yeah, if you read it, that's what it said, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have no shit like that. So, but anyway, but that's it. That's what I saw today.
So Ericka King Hughley was not locked up the same time Earnest was. Earnest was locked up on the 7th. She was locked up on the 9th. She ended up getting out on the 12th. And her 3 charges were theft by taking, criminal trespassing, and fugitive from justice. Now, when she saw that she could get out and they were not letting Earnest out, sis was thinking, hey, I gotta do something. And she did just that. She decided to impersonate an attorney on a Zoom call. So much like that call that we saw on biodiversity, where you had the attorneys and you had the ADAs, she decided to go on one of those calls and impersonate an attorney. Now, the name of the attorney that she gave up was an actual attorney in Fulton County that had been on these types of calls before. So they knew what this attorney looked like, and they were questioning like, okay, sis, can you please show us your bar number? She asked if she could send it to them directly. She did so, and that bar number was invalid. Sis jumped off the Zoom and got back on the Zoom, but accidentally got back on her real name, Ericka King. And they was like, okay, you was just somebody else. Who's Ericka? She was like, oh my God, I accidentally logged into my paralegal Zoom. Needless to say, Ericka did not get Earnest out. She ended up getting herself rearrested on July 23rd. This time she was arrested for identity theft, false statements, forgery, unauthorized practice of law, and so on. So yes, Earnest was correct by saying that she had like 30 charges. She actually had 29, and 26 of them had to do with trying to get him out. Ericka stayed in jail from July 23rd, 2022, all the way up until March 16, 2023. And at that time, she was let go on an unsecured judicial jail release. I believe that Ericka weighed her options, saw that Earnest was doing nothing to protect her, and she decided to sing like a canary. And that's why the side chick, that's why Shirley, that's why everyone is saying sis is snitching. So we see how dealing with Ernesto has caused grief for Ericka. And again, don't get me wrong, Ericka is a career criminal. Sis is no saint, but her life probably would have went a lot better before she connected with Earnest. Now let's see how Shirley's life got messed up. So the two were married on January 9, 2015, which happened to be Ernesto's 50th birthday. 4 months later, on May 12th, Earnest was locked up for theft by deception for some charges that happened 2 years earlier. Red flag, Shirley. Now, we all heard on the radio Shirley say that she recently lost her house, but this wasn't the first nor second home that she's lost since being with Ernesto. 2 years after being married, Shirley and Ernesto were sued and kicked out of this beautiful 1,600 square foot Atlanta condo. They left owing over $12,000 in rent. 2 years after their marriage, Shirley signed a 1-year lease in LA for $7,500 a month for this home. Now, she was 25 days late on the first payment, and after that she paid nothing. She and Ernesto was sued by the company Pacific Shore Property Management and had to pay over $14,000 and was put out. Then they rented this 7,800 square foot home in Alpharetta, Georgia for $4,500 a month. They did good for a while, and then the pandemic happened. Now, as you remember, during the pandemic, there was a moratorium put out there to where you could not put your tenants out. However, after the moratorium was over, rent was still due, and if you did not make any payments, everything came due at once. These two were sued and evicted once again. This time, Shirley's wages were garnished. Shirley's bank account was garnished for $47,000, so she had to make payment until this was done. Then they rented this beautiful 8,500 square foot home in Roswell, Georgia, and they got evicted from this one too after owing $39,000 in rent. Now, Shirley bought this modest 1,800 square foot home in Inglewood, California in the early 2000s, way before Earnest came into the picture. She kept it until February of last year and sold it to one of those companies that seem like they just give you money really quick when you're wanting to sell fast. 4 months later, this company turned around and sold it for $500,000 more than what Shirley sold it to them for. So Shirley literally lost $500,000, and because she's had the home for so long, I think like 17 years, she should have had a lot of equity in it, but I'm not sure where that money went to. With her having all this debt, the possibility she sold the house to pay these debts off. It seems like Shirley lived a comfortable, modest lifestyle until she got with Earnest. Once she got with Earnest, everything had to be bigger. Everything had to be better, and the payments got bigger, and it doesn't seem like they were able to afford it. Earnest seems like the type to walk away from bills. You know what? Let it go. It's not mine. Shirley was not that type until she got with Earnest. Now she's more than likely drowning in debt, and he's not here to help her pay it. Needless to say, Hurricane Ernesto came in and did a doozy on both of these ladies' lives. I hope Shirley is able to recover, and if not, girl, we will be praying for you. I actually had a woman contact me last week saying that she has a 36-year-old daughter by Ernesto, and they were married a long time ago and never got a divorce. She said that the marriage between Shirley is not valid. I have been trying to check on the status of this information. I'll let you know how it goes. Anyway, what I need to do is hear from you. What do you think about everything regarding Ericka King, Ernesto, and also Shirley Strawberry? Leave a comment, and you know how we do. We'll talk about it down below. Talk to you guys later. Bye. As always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and hit that bell so you don't miss any of my new episodes.